What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's pandemic update video for Saturday, February 25th, 2023. I'm Data Report for datareport.info. We do have several news items to report on today, all of them being COVID outbreaks. We have 4 COVID outbreaks today. The first one is St. Joseph's Manor in Ontario. There is a COVID outbreak that has been declared, and it sounds like this is a general hospital. This is in St. Eliot, in Elliot Lake, Ontario, where there is an outbreak going on at the hospital. So that's not good. We also have another outbreak to talk about up in Alaska, and this is really interesting. There is actually COVID running rampant through the capital in Alaska. It's still open to the public. Masks are not being required yet, and they are actually still holding session. Though, be it's not full session, there's no votes going on or anything like that, COVID is running rampant through the capital there, and like I said, they're not taking any mask or any measures to slow the spread, which is just totally ridiculous. They should be doing something. And then we come to this one. This one is actually really bad. We have a COVID outbreak which is occurring in an assisted living facility in Portland, Maine. Dozens are said to be infected with COVID. In fact, so far, 69 people are positive there, and I believe that's out of 170 residents. Let's see here. Yeah, 69 are positive. That's staff and patients out of the 170 people who live there, so that is especially bad. And we have one more COVID outbreak to report on, and this one is also in Ontario. There is a COVID outbreak that is growing at the Ross Memorial Hospital in Lindsay, Ontario. This is impacting all portions of the hospital. As of Friday, they have 23 inpatients with COVID, and it is rapidly spreading. Alrighty, taking a look at today's wastewater data, and as you can see here, across the country, it's a general mixture. We do have a couple clustered areas where there is moderate to high transmission, with that still being in the Great Lakes region. I would say the worst state that we're seeing on this map is just straight up, it's Ohio. Ohio is the worst state that we're seeing on this map. Then second would be South Carolina. And then if we zoom in here to, let's zoom into Maine, shall we? We do have moderate to high wastewater transmission in Maine. Here you go, Cumberland County, Maine, which is where Portland is located. We do have rising transmission of COVID. And as we just reported on, there's that outbreak that's going on in Portland, Maine. So, yeah, this is relatively interesting to see that it's rising there. And this sewer shed, the one that I have clicked on here, serves 10,000 people. I believe it's closer to like the Windham, Maine area. But there are others here. And here's the one for Portland that's now at moderate. That has 65,000 population in this sewer shed. And yes, as you can see here, it is rising. We also have a few red areas in California where there's high transmission. Napa, California, and also, let's see, what's the other one here? And also Santa Clara has high transmission, though be it is steady at this time. And you will see when we go to the Walgreens, California's transmission is actually rising now. Taking a look at the CDC community transmission map, 1,764 counties are in high transmission, 777 are in substantial transmission, 502 are in moderate transmission, and 179 are in low transmission. Moving on now to the latest update from New York State. 1,584 positive test results in the last 24 hours, 3.5% positivity rate today, with a 7-day average of 3.7%. Taking a look at the latest hospitalizations, 1,945 people are in the hospital in New York State today, with 217 people in the ICU. Alright, Walgreens. First off, take a look at Maine. Maine's positivity continues to rise. It is now at 41.9%. Previous week was at 30.4%. Difference of 11.6%. You saw the sewage wastewater in Maine. You also saw that there was an outbreak in a facility there. So Maine is definitely having a problem right now. And COVID cases are rising in Maine without a doubt. Taking a look at Vermont. 40% positivity in Vermont now. That is up 1.5% from the 30 8.5% last week, and their testing's up by 7, but they do such tiny amounts of testing it doesn't matter. Only 20 tests, and that should easily be doubled or tripled the number of testing, and it's not. Delaware is at 35.8% positivity. That's up 3.4% from last week, with it being 32.4% last week. How about Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania's at 29.9%. That's down 0.1%, with the prior week being 30%. Taking a look here at Arkansas, 37.5% in Arkansas for this week. Last week was 19.5%. Or 18.5%. That's a difference of 19%. Florida, 32% this week, 33.6% last week. That's down 1.6%. Texas is starting to rise again. 32.6% this week, 31.8% last week. That is up by 0.8%. Montana, 25% this week, 9.7% last week. That is up by 15.3%. Taking a look at California, the positivity is 37.1%. That is up 2.8% from last week, where it was 34.4% last week. So remember, I did say California is rising, and we're starting to see a few sewage wastewater plants show that there is a rise in California. How about New Mexico? 28.9% this week, 27.4% last week, difference of 1.5%, and their testing is up for this week. National positivity, 31.9%, 32.9% last week, down 0.9%, but tiny bit of good news. 22,148 tests this week, 23,184 last week. That gap is getting a little bit closer, so testing is starting to go back up a little bit. I would like to see the current week get ahead of last week. That'd be just fantastic. Alrighty, moving on, let's take a look at the latest number from Texas. In case you did not catch it earlier this week, 8,493 new positives on their Wednesday update, and hospitalizations are at 1,768 in Texas. So far this week for deaths, 2,454 deaths. That is less than last week's 2,869, and I don't suspect any more will be added. Maybe just a couple more get added today, but overall, deaths are down from last week, and that's good news, but guess what? That's not down enough to really make a big difference. We need to see them drop way more. I want to see under 1,000 deaths a week, and hopefully we can eventually get there. Total hospitalizations, 27,573 people are in the hospital. How about in the ICUs for the national number? 3,390 people in the ICU. And taking a look at some international COVID data. Germany cases are up 14%. Their deaths are down 1%. Taiwan is down 13%. Their deaths are down 15%. Japan is down 35%. Their deaths are down 36%. Russia's up 7% on cases. Their deaths are flat at 0%. South Korea is down 15% on cases. Their deaths are down 28%. Austria is up 10% on cases, down 19% on deaths. Brazil is down 43% on cases, and their deaths are up 129%. Mexico is up 101% on cases still, and 111% on deaths. France is up 17% on cases, down 6% on. Italy is down 13% on cases, and 35% on deaths. Poland cases continue to rise. 45% increase in Poland for cases. 2% increase now on deaths, and Poland cases in the past week, 14,236. Previous week was 9,800. And Chile, cases are rising there as well, up 25%. Deaths are up 5%. Spain cases are now up 5%. Deaths are down 8%. And let's just end on Romania. Romania cases are up 29%, while their deaths are down 19%. So we are seeing areas where cases and deaths are rising around the world. We also do have areas where they are dropping, and Europe is pretty much a mixed bag situation right now, which pretty much indicates, which, as you know, Europe can be a predictor of what's going to happen here in the United States. which indicates we're probably going to just see a mixed bag of what we've been seeing in the United States. There is no evidence of any new variants around the world. And this is the longest period we've gone in a very long time without seeing a new variant form out of this virus. XBB.1.5 in the United States is really starting to clear the board. All those different variants, as I was calling it, variant soup, a lot of people were saying that, variant soup, the ones that had the smaller percentages, they are starting to clear the board, which is some good news. But again, COVID is still present. It's still in a pandemic stage. We had 2,454 deaths this week, which is totally unacceptable, and we got a heck of a lot of work to do. And this is going to be with us for a long time, and it's only a matter of time until a new variant pops somewhere in this world. Will it be the United States? Will it be in Europe? Will it be in China? Will it be somewhere else? I don't know, but we have a long ways to go with this pandemic. So thanks for watching this video. That does it for today's update. We will do another one tomorrow because I'm sure there will be some new news to report on tomorrow. And until then, remember to hit that like and subscribe button down below so you're informed of my future videos. And stay safe, everyone. Have a safe Saturday night.